Hi there guys, just want to have a quick 10-minute conversation today about Tietze syndrome, or severe costochondritis as it's known. It's a chronic pain condition. It affects mostly young males between late teens and late 20s, but it can affect any age range and any gender. It's a severe form of costochondritis because instead of, in costochondritis, the pain from the ribs and the intercostal muscles and the inflammation, that's very acute. It's usually localized in the sternum, either side where the ribs meet the breastplate. In Tietze's, that you get that same acute pain, but it's not just localized to that area. It'll spread to the neck, to the shoulders, and usually down one or both arms. So it's usually much more of a realistic experience or simulation of a myocardial infarction or a heart attack. So that being said, it's a benign condition, so it's not going to affect your general health. It's going to put you in a lot of pain, probably a couple of days, a month maybe, depending on how bad it is. If it's very bad, it will be a couple of days, a week. If you're unlucky enough to experience it pretty much every day, then the only thing I would recommend is a lot of pain medication in that case, until it calms down a bit. At first it can be like that. You can get it day after day after day, and then it will start to calm down, and you might think it's gone away, and then you'll do some heavy lifting or something, and it'll come back. So I guess what I want this to be is sort of an informational video where I can tell you what it is, as I just have, what it means for your general health, the treatments that are out there at the moment, and the sort of things you might encounter while having this condition. So first thing I want to talk about is that there is no general known cause for Tietze's. It's an onset of pain, sometimes chronic pain, after any kind of activity involving the chest and the rib cage. That's it. It's quite vague. It can be after a minor injury. It can be after coughing, say a particular hearty bout of laughter. It can be just pretty much anything. It's the inflammation of the intercostal muscles in your rib cage. So where these intercostal muscles all connect and generate pain is down the center near the sternum, where all the ribs and all the muscles connect to this one plate. Now, if you get an inflammation or a variation in the structure, say a slight twist in the rib cage at any point, that's going to then affect the entire rib cage, because everything's connected with muscles and bones. So it's very much a case of, if you're in a little bit of pain here, or say if there's a slight twist in the rib cage, or if there's let's say inflammation along this intercostal muscle, then you could experience pain down here, maybe in the bottom left. You could experience pain in your back, connected to your spine. So it's very subjective. It can be, it won't be very localized to the center like costochondritis. It will spread, and you'll have secondary pain, and you will get pain in your neck. You might even get pain in your jaw if the muscles all connected and you are quite a skinny person. You might experience tightness in the jaw and a little bit of pain. Notable difference between Tietze's and a heart attack would be Tietze's is a very sharp acute pain, almost like a stabbing pain, whereas a heart attack is a crushing pain, and it'll feel like a very large person is sitting on your chest. On saying that, there are some similarities where in both you'll be if you have a very sudden onset of heavy pain in Tietze's, you will not be able to breathe properly for about 30 seconds. It's quite, it does take your breath away a bit, but whereas Tietze's takes the breath away, a heart attack simply sort of, it's that real crushing pain where you'll still be able to breathe, but it'll feel very difficult and very pressured. So there are differences as well as similarities. You will get some pain with Tietze's down the arm, If you're having the chest pain, even maybe the odd bit of secondary pain, but not getting any neck, shoulder, and chest pain, neck, shoulder, or arm pain, then I'd say you probably have costochondritis, which is a much less severe form. It's still painful, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people out there who have costochondritis are not in pain, they are in pain. But there is a definite classification difference between Tietze's and costochondritis, otherwise it would all just be called costochondritis. So the main difference obviously between the two being that Tietze's radiates to the neck, arms, shoulders, not just the chest. But you will experience pain when you're breathing at times. It's going to affect your sleeping now and then. You may incur some insomnia. You will have difficulty sleeping now and then. But again, the main point to remember is it's benign, it's not going to kill you, and it is just pain at the end of the day. And pain, as we know, is perceived psychologically. So if you can try to calm yourself down and tell yourself that it's just pain, you're going to perceive that pain as less to begin with. It's almost like trying to trick your brain into thinking that, it's not a big deal, it's just pain. And when you're paranoid or anxious about it, your brain will then respond and sort of say, yes, it is, can you feel this sort of thing? And you will experience more pain. It is brought on and aggravated and exacerbated by psychological and physiological stress. So you just got to try and be careful, really. But the main point is to relax, keep yourself calm, and just remember that you're not having a heart attack, it's just pain. So, and I say that as though, people can easily get over it. I've had it for 18 months now, and I can tell you it's not nice to experience it on a regular basis, that sort of pain. It can be very debilitating to the point where you won't be able to get up out of bed, out of a chair, just due to the amount of pain you'll be in. So it's not nice, it's very unpleasant to experience, but it's not going to kill you. So there is an upside. There are some treatment methods out there, mainly NSAID pain relievers, which take some of the pressure and inflammation away from the rib cage and the intercostal muscles, but at the same time that will affect other muscles in the body, like your digestive system muscles. It'll affect the day-to-day working of your body, so you've got to use those probably as sparingly as you can, only when you are absolutely in pain, no more. I think popular on the market at the moment is diclofenic sodium, and of course you can get classifications of or degrees of pain relief all the way up to codeine, I think is the one they do for this, all the way up to that. After that, there's not really much anyone can do. The only other thing that's out there at the moment is an injection into the ribs or the intercostal muscles of the ribs, and that, I'm told, has about a 10% chance of incurring a punctured lung. So there's a small risk involved with that one, and it doesn't last very long. It only lasts about 2 months, I'm told. So I personally wouldn't have that done, but then that's me just playing it safe. It all depends on your particular case and your particular amount of pain, so that's always important to remember. You're probably going to experience some panic attacks as well, characterised by you're getting yourself paranoid over the amount of pain you're in, thinking it's a heart attack, and what if they're wrong? This is it, sort of thing. I could be dying from this pain. What if what they've told me is incorrect? They've got a false reading on a chart, or someone read an ECG wrong, or anything like that. So the panic attacks are going to give you a flop sweat, again, which you will link in your head to a heart attack, but it's not. It's a panic attack. You might get a fluctuation in temperature, up then down, then up then down. You'll be hot and cold, hot and cold. Again, you get a mild fever with a heart attack. So I suppose that could trick you into thinking you're having a heart attack when you're not. But it's all part of the panic attack, sort of creating the symptoms of the heart attack along with the rib pain. So you've just got to really ignore it, which is hard. I know that's very hard. So you're going to get the flop sweat, you're going to get a temperature fluctuation, you're going to get a feeling of dread, or a sense of dread, as though you're about to die. it's not a nice feeling. It's like a wave. The only way I can describe it is like a wave of panic, and it's pure panic, and it'll start somewhere in your head, and you'll feel very strange and very distant, and you'll feel this wave of almost like a shiver run through your entire body, and it's not nice to experience. It's very unnerving to feel it. You might get a bit shaky, might get a bit shivery. You might feel sick. In a lot of cases, you probably will be either sick or you will have diarrhea. It'll be one of the two. So whichever it is, make sure you get to the toilet. Most cases, it's vomiting. And again, vomiting is a symptom of a heart attack. So there are always going to be cross wires if you're having a panic attack to having the heart attack. Again, the main difference is the crushing pain. So as long as you're having a stabbing pain, that's fine. If you are having crushing pains, then obviously ring for an ambulance. If you're having stabbing pains and you have all the other symptoms of the panic attack, and if you feel your heart rate's running quite high, just 2 fingers to the neck, to the jugular, you'll know how to take a heart beat reading from your neck, if you like. Have someone count along seconds while you count the beats for like 6 seconds and times it by 10. So if you're worried, and of course just phone an ambulance or phone an NHS direct line, and they'll talk you down, they'll calm you down. The main thing is to make sure your heart doesn't go so fast in a panic attack that you go into ischemia. Now I've had that once, and that's when your heart's doing about 140 just sitting still, and that's the sort of area when you can start to do damage to your heart if you're in it for too long. So you don't want to be in that sort of state for any longer than about 10 minutes. So, just as soon as you feel that way, calm yourself down. And obviously, if you are very young, your heart will be able to go much higher without sustaining any damage for a long time. So I wouldn't worry too much if you're a teenager. If you're late 20s, then just keep an eye out on it as a concern, so it's just something to be aware of. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you. Well, I hope I've given you some sort of useful information on it. The best techniques I can find to reduce anxiety and reduce stress would be meditation, some yoga work, some sort of exercise. General healthy eating seems to work quite well. Honey seems to be a miracle sort of thing. That people told me that a lot of honey in their diet works for them. So if it works for them, that's great. I haven't experienced the same results personally, but it could just be maybe they're doing something else as well that they're not realizing. But honey, I've heard a lot that does help. And that's it really. I'd love people to comment and rate, and to share treatment methods or share experiences of their own personal Tietze encounters. As far as I know, this is the only English video now on YouTube that at least covers Tietze syndrome. I haven't found another one, unless one's gone up very quickly or my searching is quite poor. I think I found a Dutch one, and that was it, and that didn't really explain a lot. There are some Costochondritis videos, but there are, to my knowledge, no Tietze videos. So yeah, if you can comment or rate, that'd be much appreciated, and if you can share your own personal experiences, I'd love to hear about them. So until next time, I'll go out and I will see you later.